Hello, and welcome to the OKC Edge Halloween special. As you know already, this is my favorite time of year. And why is that? Because of all the fun, all the candy, the costumes, and the craziness. So let's get ready for another Halloween special. Stay tuned. Be careful when hunting monsters, lest you become a monster. Let's think about that. What does it really mean? It means that we as a people get really obsessed in what we're doing and sometimes forget the way it's affecting people and even ourselves. So pay attention to your limits and pay attention because lest you become a monster. It is written that even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright.
One, two, three.
Halloween costumes make me crazy. They make me wanna funnel things with my hammer again. I think I'm going crazy again.
You know, one of my favorite things about this time of year is the treats. Popcorn, pumpkin seeds, pumpkin pie, even pomegranate. Yes, I love all these little snacks. And they definitely add to any party that you're having. Just something to think about. now it's time for a horror reading by a good friend of mine, Mr. Tommy B. Smith. Enjoy.
This is Immolation Hymn. They seized us in the darkness. Callie and I fell to their numbers in the forest, engulfed us. The light plunged into a sludge of discarded memories. Today it reemerged to guide my direction through the night. Across a span of dirty water to the pier at the edge of a quiet property, I grasped the moist wooden planks and heaved my body up from the warm wetness onto the pier's edge. Once on solid wood, I walked the pier's length to a span of tall grass and overgrowth. Beyond it, the back of the mottled gray and brown house became visible to me. I hurried toward the faint light of a window, pausing only once when a shadow passed across it. A convenient large stone lay in the grass near the old house. I maneuvered it toward the area of ground beneath the window. From an elevated position on the flat standing stone, I could look through the window and into the home's interior. A short hallway connected with the back bedroom. From the windowless bedroom shone a faint yellow light. I couldn't see much else from outside the hall window. I pressed my hands against the glass pane and pushed to open the window. Finding it locked, I squeezed my fist tight and rammed it through the window. Glass rained down. My fist went wet with blood. I hauled myself through the broken window without a care for any semblance of pain. Halfway through, a rapid thudding of footsteps answered my entry. I kept struggling through the window. Remnants of the glass window still clung to the frame and sliced me, but I forced myself onward and tumbled in a bleeding heap to the linoleum floor. Within that same instant, the bedroom door cracked shut and its lock clicked into place. I approached the door and slammed the heel of my bare foot hard against the brown wood. The door smashed wide open and cracked against the wall. Past the defeated door, she stood, with wary eyes. First, she saw my body scratched and torn with the barest remains of tattered clothing clinging to my dirty flesh. And then she saw my face. She gasped. "Uncle Carl?" Cassie ventured. I dove at her. She screamed and flung herself backward to fall over the bed. I crashed into her, cinched her head between my arms, and dragged her away from the bed and across the carpet while she fought against me. From somewhere outside the bedroom, another door slammed. I dropped Cassie, and she sprawled to the carpet amid the clutter of papers and dirty clothing. Before I could fully turn, something struck me in the back. It hardly fazed me. I turned on the shirtless, dark-haired man and hit him hard in the face. He fell back. I jumped onto him and kept hitting him until he stopped moving. Blood covered his face and my hands. The butt of a shotgun slammed into the back of my head and sent me rolling into a vortex of swirling yellow linoleum. The floor pressed into my bare back. The couple stood over me, whispering back and forth. Cassie held the 12-gauge shotgun at the ready. The man, a man unfamiliar even from a faraway memory of days lost and meaningless, held fearful eyes on me. "Are you sure it's him?" he asked Cassie in a low tone, as if thinking I couldn't hear every word he spoke. "No," she replied. She opened her mouth again as if to say something else, but fell short, and instead finished with a slow shake of her head. "You called him," he began, but Cassie cut him off. "I know what I said," she said, quivering and pale, "but I was wrong. It can't be him." I laughed. She fell back a step and almost shot me out of fear. The man stumbled backward over a pile of laundry. My screeching laughter startled them both to renewed fear. More had come. The sound of the scratching grew louder and drew Cassie's wide-eyed alarm. "What is that?" the man whispered. "It's coming from outside," Cassie whispered. In turn, she raised the shotgun toward the initial source of the sound, but now it came from the opposite side of the house as well, a manic tumult of clawing against the house's facade, as if a dozen wild beasts would soon tear their way in. The man moved toward the broken window. "Evan, no!" Cassie choked out. Too late. Dirty hands grabbed the man's head. He shouted with surprise and fought to pry them away, but two more pairs of arms snaked around him. With the strength he couldn't defy, they dragged him into the window. The window's edges of broken glass ripped into his clothing and dug bleeding furrows in his skin. He shouted and beat against his assailant's arms. Cassie ran to help him, her shotgun raised, but she never made it. I came to my feet again and charged after her. She spun around, but my hands fell on the shotgun, wrenching it away from her. She backed away, unarmed, unable to conceal her fright. Evan was gone, pulled completely through the window now. His cries faded against the furious, meaty thunks of hands, feet, and stones, pounding his soft body. Cassie turned to run into the bedroom. I caught her by a handful of hair and yanked her back. She squealed and fell against me. I threw her down. She struck the floor with a stunned gasp. A dark face hovered into the broken open window. The face, with its glazed eyes and broken teeth, swiveled down toward Cassie. The front door crashed open. Others came into the home. 2 more. 3 more followed. Breathing heavily, Cassie struggled to shake away her daze. But realization tightened her sweat-glistening features. Her resolve collapsed in the face of pure terror because she saw us staring down at her and knew she didn't have a chance. "No," she begged. She looked at me, her eyes desperate and her lips babbling. "Carl, I know it's you. Please, don't." They took her by the legs and dragged her toward the door. She flailed in panicked defiance. I kicked her in the head. Her struggles stopped then. They took her from her home and down the wooden steps into the open night. The back of her head bumped each step on the way down. They carried her across the muddy ground to the area of property behind the house, where we ran toward the dense foliage, splashed through the water near the pier, and surged toward the clustered forms of dying trees. With soft splashes, we emerged onto the muddy bank and met the forest again. The light in my mind faded. It became harder to proceed, but no one desisted, not even when the barbed branches cut our arms and faces. They heaved Cassie through the tangle like a limp piece of meat through a grinder. She awoke and screamed. Cries sprang from the dark, and more, many more, were all around us. My own scream joined in the chorus. Mud and blood-caked hands hurled Cassie into the waiting mound of sticks and brush. She moaned into the pile and writhed into a face-up position. The sticks raked against her bleeding back. Her heavy panting betrayed no notice. The cries fell silent. All heads turned to me, knowing I could produce the flame with more quickness than any flint could achieve. The light within me flickered. I remembered the dirty old lighter. I fished it from its stained, fleshy pouch and struck the flame. Cassie's head turned toward me, but a black figure approached and quickly drew her attention the other way. The stringy, singed remnants of hair dangled about the creature's head. Its eyes were slit. Its features burned and blackened. The creature dashed toward her with purposeful hunger. Cassie's mouth opened, but no sound emerged. Fear submerged her will and destroyed her words. After a moment, a desperate, tearful whimpering escaped her. Whether she recognized the thing that had been her sister, Callie, I couldn't know. On that night that Callie and I were taken into the forest and given to the savage song again and again, the light had faded in both of us. We found ourselves changed by its long absence. Cassie struggled, but the burning thing pinned her. When it leaned close, the odor overcame her, smokiness mingled with sulfur, and beneath it all, a filthy sour smell. Its narrow eyes took her in like a feral beast would its supper. It lashed out. Its jagged nails tore her raw, bleeding flesh. Cassie's body shuddered uncontrollably, but somehow she found her voice and screamed again. I struck the fire and lit the brush pile. The fire rose, fierce and blinding. I held my eyes open against it. They thrashed and screamed. The blackened woman burned again, but still she frenzied to tear her burning sister into shreds. Both kept screaming. Our own cries rose within them, in discordant song to the yearning darkness, that it might hear us from beyond the veil of time and death with this offering of true anguish. For blood is our covenant, and transcendent is its thirst.
Halloween. Witches wail and werewolves howl. Ghosts say boo and monsters scowl. Jack-o'-lanterns grin all night as children shiver with delight. Halloween. We mask our faces and wear strange hats and moan like witches and screech like cats and jump like goblins and thump like elves and almost manage to scare ourselves. It's time to fear. Halloween time is finally here. So all you scaredy cats, it's time to fear. For all the evil spirits and witches now near, you can run, but you cannot hide, my dear. Have a spooky Halloween. And now it's time to debut the one and only PitterSplatter's music video, Teeth. Enjoy.
My grandmother and my grandfather had false teeth, and they scared me. I don't mind false teeth now.
And now it's time to say goodbye, to bid farewell to all my friends. Until next time, thank you for watching and supporting the OKC Edge. Happy Halloween.
I said I love you. You said it back to me. Our hearts are joined forever. Can't you see? Can't you see? I need your love. I need your grace. I need your mercy. Yeah, oh yeah. I call you on the telephone just to hear your voice. It seems to calm me when I'm feeling blue. When I'm feeling blue. I need your love. I need your grace. I need your mercy. Yeah, oh yeah.